The young people are the ones who are going to write about you in the history books. We are the ones who get to decide how you will be remembered. So my advice for you is to choose wisely. I don't represent any financial or political interests. I'm not a lobbyist, so I can't negotiate, make deals, or compromise. I have nothing to offer you, nor am I a scientist. All I can do is to urge you to listen to and act on the science and to use your common sense. And I'm not even going to explain why we need to make real drastic changes and dramatically lower our emissions in line with the overall current best available science. It is the year 2021. The fact that we are still having this discussion, and even more that we are still subsidizing fossil fuels directly or indirectly using taxpayer money, is a disgrace. It is a clear proof that we have not understood the climate emergency at all. If you compare the current so-called climate policies to the overall current best available science, you clearly see that there's a huge gap. The gap between what we are doing and what actually needs to be done in order to stay below the 1.5 degrees Celsius target is widening by the second. And the simple fact, an uncomfortable fact, is that if we are to live up to our promises and commitments in the Paris Agreement, we have to end fossil fuel subsidies, stop new exploration and extraction, completely divest from fossil fuels, and keep the carbon in the ground. Now, especially the US, taking into account the fact that it is the biggest emitter in history. And just to be clear, that is not my opinion. It is what the science clearly shows. And yet, this is just the very minimum amount of effort that is needed to start the rapid sustainable transition. And it may seem like we are asking for a lot. And you will, of course, say that we are naive. And that's fine. But at least we are not so naive that we believe things will be solved through countries and companies making vague, distant, insufficient targets without any real pressure from the media and the general public. So either you do this, or you're going to have to start explaining to your children and the most affected people why you are surrendering on the 1.5 degree target. Giving up without even trying. Well, what I'm here to say is that unlike you, my generation will not give up without a fight. And to be honest, I don't believe for a second that you will actually do this. The climate crisis doesn't exist in the public debate today. And since it doesn't really exist, and the general level of awareness is so absurdly low, you will still get away with continuing to contribute to the destruction of present and future living conditions. And I know I'm not the one who's supposed to ask questions here, but there is something I really do wonder. How long do you honestly believe that people in power like you will get away with it? How long do you think you can continue to ignore the climate crisis, the global aspect of equity and historic emissions without being held accountable? You get away with it now, but sooner or later people are going to realize what you have been doing all this time. That's inevitable. You still have time to do the right thing and to save your legacies. But that window of time is not going to last for long. What happens then? We, the young people, are the ones who are going to write about you in the history books. We are the ones who get to decide how you will be remembered. So my advice for you is to choose wisely. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Can you all hear me? Okay. Okay, good. Hope you can. Let's take a moment and honor our veterans, active duty military, and first responders. Okay, welcome Democratic Club members. We're taking a break at the beach. You can see that on the screen. We're all in there somewhere, having fun. Next slide, please. Okay, I'm Mike Falk. I'm going to be your host today. Thanks for joining, everybody. When you see a screen up here, that you will have a little banner on the bottom, so take a picture of this slide, but any that have anything that you want to refer back to, please take a picture of it with your phone. Okay, that House Bill 1, the Federal House Bill 1 passed on March 3rd, 2021, goes to the Senate next for consideration. There's an 87% chance of being enacted. I'm not sure what exactly that means anymore because of Mitch McConnell. He's for sure gonna try to hold this thing up in the Senate, and not just Mitch McConnell, but Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin seem to think that they're Republicans and not Democrats, and they seem to, I don't know who the heck they represent anymore. So anyway, HR 1 for the People Act, it's automatic voter registration, voting rights for felons. I could tell you this about felons down here that DeSantis, as soon as us citizens down here voted that in, then immediately, the legislature started saying, oh, well, that isn't really what we meant. Well, we know what we meant because we voted for it. And I can tell you this, is that if those Republicans in Florida Senate and House thought that those felons would vote for them, this would be a done deal. Gun safety, reduce the power of lobbyists, special interests, national security, blocks pathways for foreign actors, dark money, voices in their elections, and HR 1 for the prescription drugs. I mean, you can go to Canada and get like insulin, something like insulin for 10% of what it costs down here in the States. So anyway, I think that's enough pontificating on that. Next thing up, thanks, Amy. There's 5 GOP senators that won't be running for re-election: Roy Blunt in Missouri, Richard Shelby in Alabama, Rob Portman in Ohio, Pat Toomey in Pennsylvania, and Richard Burr in North Carolina. I'm not real confident on Missouri or Alabama. Maybe Ohio, if they can get something going. Pat Toomey, maybe, and Richard Burr in North Carolina. We've also got some that are, I know that Warnoff up in Georgia, I think is running too, and there's a big push to try to turn him out of office. So it'd be nice to pick up 3 or 4 along the way, keep the ones we have, and pick up a few. But and that would certainly blunt the impact of Sinema and Manchin. Manchin had, once he's got that taste of power, he'll probably switch over to the Republican Party after he realizes that's why it'd be good to get a extra senator or 2. Anyway, thanks for that, Amy. I was just informed, that was from Amy sent this along, that Stacey Abrams has been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Now, I think that's pretty cool. I'm sure that'll drive the Trumpers nuts, but that's the way it is. Okay, Florida House and Senate. This is the House Bill 1 is anti-riot. I think that's a terrible bill. Terrible. I mean, that could, anything where, you know, there's any kind of protest, it's going to be selectively enforced, and it's certainly going to be selectively prosecuted. You can bet that if it was the 3%ers or the Proud Boys or the Oath Keepers, anybody like that who is going to be out protesting, none of those will be enforced, and certainly there'll be selective enforcement on that. Senate Bill 90, new voting rules. Not sure exactly. I haven't read all these, but it's certainly it's anti people voting like us. I know that it's certainly going to affect people of color. It's going to affect Democrats. House Bill 337, impact fees law. That's the one we've been hearing a lot about. With hopefully the next election, we can turn out at least one of those representatives who voted, because they need 3/4 out of the 5 of them. We need 4 of them to be able to change those impact fees. Social media rules. Now, I'm not sure that DeSantis could even do this, but from what I hear, that he's talking about having that he can't. What he's going to do is keep people from, like this, getting people that can't, on social media, turning people out on social media, or cancel culture. And then pro-gun bills. I don't know about here in Florida. I'm not real clear on it, but I think that I know across the country there's been some pro-gun bills where it's going to be open carry without permits or anything, and what could possibly go wrong there. So anyway, next slide, please, Amy. Okay, Senate Bill 90, that's the legislation, and there's a good caption here: if you can't beat them, cheat them, and that's true. So the voter suppression bill, this is sponsored by Baxley, who pretty much is a lapdog for DeSantis. It's going to ban ballot drop boxes, purge vote by mail enrollment. I know this is going to be every 2 years now, and it was every 4. There was even something in there where all of a sudden the Republican representative said, "Oh, this is going to affect my seniors and military, so I'm going to." So can't we put an exception in? And they said, no, we can't do that. I'm wondering how this part of this is it's going to prohibit anyone except direct family to drop off ballots for them. I wonder how this is going to affect people in nursing homes or in care facilities here. That certainly, I don't know. I'm sure that'll suppress their vote. Vote by mail registration valid for only one election cycle. So anyway, so another one, impact fees. Brent Hague put the brakes on that impact fee. Bill sailed through the legislature. This will increase our taxes. What this will do is it'll affect the south of 44 and increase our taxes here. It's gonna, and which it's all being pretty quiet because, of course, Republicans don't want to be known for increasing taxes. So DeSantis, what he's been up to, he refused federal Medicaid expansion, even though it really doesn't do anything with our state finances. There's always been the argument that, okay, it's going to cost us money. Well, not really. And he's doing these. He decried the vaccine passports meant to keep people safe and allow events to start again. Well, I just heard today that the Norwegian Cruise Line might quit servicing in Florida or coming out of Florida if they can't use passports because they need to make sure that everyone is vaccinated on their ships. Those will be like a petri dish. Okay, Val Demings. She's represented Florida's 10th congressional district since 2017. That's Western Orlando, Apopka, Winter Garden, and more. There's talk of her. She's talked about challenging DeSantis. She's also talked about challenging Rubio. She does have good name recognition. So she's just one of many that have put their, are considering running against, in the next election cycle, running against the Republicans. Okay, now I'm sure everyone's seen this. Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene kicked off their barnstorming America First tour yesterday down at the Brownwood Hotel. And I didn't go. Some people texted me and said, "Did you go?" And it's like, no, oh my God, no. I just stayed as far away from that as I could, even though I lived by Brownwood. So I don't know what went on down there, but I'm sure it'll be on the news. We had Chris had CNN had contacted Chris. So Chris and Shirley and Ellen and a guy named Dave Davidson and me sat for an interview with Randy Kay at CNN. And can you play that, Amy? It's about 5 minutes long.
Two of the former president's staunchest and most controversial allies in Congress are set to begin a national speaking tour tomorrow at Florida's biggest retirement community, The Villages. Battle Congressman Matt Gaetz, under federal investigation for alleged sex trafficking, among other things, will be joined by QAnon-curious Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene for the beginning of what they call their America First tour. Randy Kay had a chance to speak with some of the residents before their appearance.
The Villages is often called Florida's friendliest hometown, but Congressman Matt Gaetz may still get an icy reception.
Are you disturbed that he's making an appearance here in the Villages?
I'm horrified. I'm absolutely horrified.
Chris Stanley and other Democrats we spoke with in this retirement community in Central Florida say they've had enough of Gaetz.
He's, by coming down here and really kind of doing a distraction tour and raising money.
You call it a distraction tour?
Oh, well, of course.
A distraction, Democrats we spoke with say, from the allegations Gaetz is facing, including prostitution, sex trafficking, and sexual relations with a 17-year-old girl. Gaetz has denied the allegations, instead suggesting, without verified proof, it's part of a plot by a former DOJ official to extort money from his family.
He gets to say what he wants. It doesn't mean that it's true.
Even this man, a Republican, agrees.
Do you believe, Matt Gaetz, that maybe there was some type of extortion plot?
Based on what I've heard, no, I don't. It's a nice story.
The problem is that his district is so heavily red, he could be reelected if he was in prison.
So you still support Matt Gaetz?
Yes.
Republican Israel Hall says he believes Gaetz so far, but wants to see the investigation play out.
They're allegations, and most conservatives were concerned about cancel culture, where people get accused of things before you get a chance to defend yourself or go through the full process.
Fellow Republican Rick Carlins has his own doubts about the allegations against Gaetz.
If I was a betting man, and I'm not, I would bet that they're not true.
What do you base that on?
Anybody who's supportive of Donald Trump right now is under attack. Rudy Giuliani, Matt Gaetz. It's the cancel culture. It's what's going on today.
When his nationwide tour kicks off, Gaetz will be joined by Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. When we asked about her support of Gaetz, this Republican seemed to waffle.
If Marjorie Taylor Greene says that she knows that Matt Gaetz has done nothing wrong, should people believe her? Would you believe her?
I would tend to believe her.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is the queen of conspiracy theories, and she says Matt Gaetz didn't do anything wrong. Why would you believe her?
I don't know that she would know. I don't know that she would know that completely.
And about the tour's title?
This America First tour, what does that even mean?
I have no idea, but again, it's a nice name.
If you were Matt Gaetz right now facing these allegations, would you be out parading yourself around the country?
Of course not. Because I would be trying to keep a low profile and trying to defend myself in a proper way with whatever my attorneys would want me to do.
I truly find that embarrassing when I thought, God, who would even go there and listen to them?
Randy, what more do we know about this tour?
Well, Anderson, so far we have just one date confirmed, and that is tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. right here in the Villages in Florida. But Matt Gaetz has said the plan for this tour is to highlight the destructive failings of the radical left. That's an exact quote from him. He's planning to rally the 74 million Americans who voted for Donald Trump in the last election. But critics say that this is really just so Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene can get some attention, and it's really just a money grab so they can do some big fundraising. But here, when you talk to people around the Villages, like Trump, they have very strong feelings really on both sides about Matt Gaetz. One Republican telling me that he says that Matt Gaetz is a rising star in the Republican Party, so somebody is out there to take him down. So that's sort of what the thinking is here and what we're dealing with here in the Villages. But we'll see if he addresses this tomorrow night, because last time he was the headliner at an event at the Doral Country Club, the Doral Club in Doral outside Miami. And he spoke there, and just a couple weeks ago, and he said that he addressed them head on. So we'll see if he takes it up tomorrow night. Anderson will be here.
Thanks very much, Randy. Appreciate it.
I think it's pretty telling what Chris said, is that, you know, this guy Gaetz could be in jail and he'd still get elected. And I like to use the term that, you know, the Republicans could nominate a ham sandwich and put an R after its name, and it would get elected up there in the Panhandle, that's for sure. So anyway, today is World Migratory Bird Day. Since we are, since as Democrats we care about this, and I know there's a lot of talk about how a lot of birds are getting you know, in their flight in their migrations, that a lot of them get, you know, a lot of them run into obstacles and stuff like that. So I think that that's just one of the problems, you know, certainly habitat and everything else. So, thanks for that. Tomorrow's Mother's Day. Remember all moms lost their kids, those who haven't, moms at work, moms in jail, moms at home, single moms, married moms, surrogate moms, moms who cry for children everywhere. This, you should know, Mother's Day is always the second Sunday in May, and it's also opening fishing in Minnesota, which is where I'm from. So that would always, it'd be like, so guys would go fishing. Well, sometimes they take their wives, they'd catch all the fish, but so anyway, thanks for that, Amy. Okay, starting Sunday, January 6th, Marcia is going to kick off the Democratic Neighbors Orientation at Colony Cottage. And what that does, that welcomes new Villager Democrats, and it's a safe place for you to go and meet some of your Democratic neighbors. Take a picture of this slide. You can now apply for voter registration while doing your driver's license business. There's a website there, FLHMSMV, Public Motor Vehicle .gov/. Picture that slide. I don't know if anyone has seen this, but there's this Trump train bus that was it's actually a private thing, and touring around the Villages, and this unofficial Trump campaign bus for 2020 election is now available on Craigslist for $135,000. And the guy that owns this named Buddy Hall, and he became excited about Trump's candidacy, and he didn't regularly follow politics and rarely bothered to vote. He had Airbnb events. He bought the bus, takes it to other events. Last year it cost $120,000 to maintain the bus, and then now he isn't getting enough money for that. So it says many people come to the bus and say, "Great job, we're behind you and support you, but sadly do nothing to help." Well, you know what? He should know he's dealing with Trump, who's a grifter, so he wouldn't get anything back from that. So thanks for that. Okay, it's redistricting time because it coincides with the census. So take a picture of this slide. There's ways to get involved with this, ways to get information. Democrats all seem to be behind the 8 ball when it comes to redistricting. I don't know why we do that, but we don't seem to learn. Okay, thank you. Okay, Barb, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Oh, way cool. Barb's going to talk about the next 2 slides, a little bit of fundraising. Barb is with the Democratic Executive Committee for Sumter County.
Thank you so much, Mike, and thanks for giving me a couple minutes today to talk about our Sumter County Democrats, a couple of our fundraising activities that we're very excited about. Some of you probably have seen a couple of these things through your VDC Buzz or through some other source, but I just want to share with you something we're very excited about, which is our Build Back Blue in 22 campaign. We had a basically fundraising campaign for Build Back Blue, but now we've got some merchandise, and the merchandise we think is pretty darn cute. We've created this graphic with our Democratic donkey. He's building a foundation for 22 so that we can win these elections and build back better. It's sort of piggybacking a little bit on Joe Biden's Build Back Better concept. So we've got t-shirts and we've got mugs and we've actually got buttons. So, you know, we've got this new merchandise just on sale within the last week or so. We hope that you will go to our website and also look at your VDC Buzz that's coming out Sunday, tomorrow, and there'll be a direct link on that so that you can go in and buy some merchandise. And by the way, real quick, I have the t-shirt on. I hope you can see that, maybe. Next slide, I'm going to talk about something else that we're very excited about. We have started a speaker series for 2021. Some of you may have participated in our gala event, which is a big speaking event that we had Val Demings this past year. We've decided to break that up and have smaller events with speakers and not quite the whole large gala event, but our first one in the speaker series is going to be Manny Diaz. And as many of you know, he is the new chair of our Florida Democratic Party. And we're going to have a conversation with him Friday, May 21st, 6 to 7. And we hope that you join us. We're keeping consistent with our 22. And so the ticket price is $22. And again, this flyer that you see in front of you will be in tomorrow's VDC Buzz. And you'll be able to click right there and it'll take you so that you can purchase a ticket. And we sure hope that you will join us with that. It's going to be an exciting evening. And thank you for your support.
Okay, thanks, Barb. We appreciate it. Okay, it's another photo opportunity here. Nikki Fried is she's running for I think she's talked about running for either governor or some other representative. I think she's the only statewide Democratic candidate or Democratic representative that we have in any of our seats. So on there's going to be a virtual fundraiser May 29th. You can purchase your ticket. We aren't advocating for this. We're giving you the choice. We're passing this information on. It's a virtual fundraiser for the Lake County Democrats. Thank you. Okay, here's another photo opportunity. Lake County County Commissioner is going to host a bunch of district meetings. These won't be live streamed, so the public can encourage you to attend. There's a brand new commissioner, Doug Shields, is going to be speaking, and then there's going to be other meetings going to take place in other 4 commission districts. So there's some websites there that you can go to get information on that if you're from Lake County. Thank you. COVID-19 stats. I know that I'm not quite sure what to think of the stats we get out of the DeSantis office. I'm not sure if they're delayed or if they're whatever. But I know nationwide or in Florida, it's 2.26 million cases and 35,000 deaths as of yesterday. So the president's goal is to get 70% of adults, which I believe are defined as 16 and older, given one vaccine dose by July 4th. That's a heck of a goal. I think it's aggressive, but he's delivered on all those before that. So those stats came from that website. So thanks for that. Okay, I guess we're kind of ramping down here. I'm open for questions from anyone. We've got a Q&A session. If anyone wants to put anything in the chat window, you can also send me an email or to anyone that's on the board. If you've got a question for anyone here, you can put it in the chat window. It doesn't have to be me. I was going to say to Amy, she's got today's date on there. I looked at last month's Q&A session, and I kind of got them mixed up, and I think it was April 10th, and I was pretty surprised at that because and it wasn't Amy's presentation. It was just the one I was referring to, and I was only 1 month behind because usually I'm stuck in the 60s, not just a month ago. So that's pretty good. No questions. I can't believe that we've covered everything everyone knows or everything everyone wants to know. So with that, I guess we're ready to log it off. I've got thanks to Amy Jenkins for her effort to gather the content for today's meeting and assembling the slide deck. Thanks to Rick Dawson for his tech support and coordinating the Zoom meeting. We had a bit of a glitch that Rick was able to sort through. Rick and Amy were able to figure out how to get our speaker on today due to some technical difficulties. Thanks to Heather for having our backs, assisting with publishing and editing. And for Professor Van Leer for volunteering to be today's speaker and hanging in there when we've got had some technical difficulties. Also, everyone who provided content, advice, and support for the meeting today, I appreciate it. And thanks to all the Democrats who attended today.
Hey, Mike.
Your attendance makes these meetings successful.
Mike, Marcia had a question.
What's that?
Mike, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I just wanted to add something about the Democratic Neighbors Orientation. Please watch the buzz to be sure that, in fact, it is going to take place. Participation is going to be very, very limited. So people who are anxious to get together, who are members of the club already, who just want to kibitz and see a friendly face, please don't do it there. We're going to have room for maybe 15 people if we're lucky. So also, personal request, everybody will wear a mask, or as far as I'm concerned, don't come. And I also would very much prefer that everybody be 2 weeks out from their last vaccination. And all of this will be in the buzz once it's clear that we are comfortable in a closed room with 15 people. So watch the buzz. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Marcia. Oh, with Marcia on here, it's interesting to know Marcia was trying to get on with, who is that, Chris Cuomo, Marcia?
Well, I wasn't trying. He was trying to get me on. And then there apparently was a death in the family. And I was all set to go last night. It was going to be live, which scared the, what out of me. But I was all set to go, and they canceled kind of at the last minute. But hopefully I'm on somebody's short list. I know I'm on somebody's other kind of list that starts with an S. But I want everybody to know, thank you for those of you who were excited about the prospect. And it took me an hour to take off all that makeup. So hopefully there will be another opportunity.
I love it. Okay, thanks, Marsha. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, is that pretty much it, everyone? Any last minute things? Okay, then thanks everyone for joining, and we will see you all next month.
Got it.
Thanks a million, everybody.
Well done, Mike. Amy, superb.
Yes, very nice. Okay, thanks, Rick.